A deal that was almost done suddenly falls apart. A bonus you had every reason to expect gets canceled. An opportunity that seemed meant for you passes right by. When this keeps happening, it is hard not to wonder whether you did something wrong. Sometimes you may even feel as if life is playing a trick on you, as if some invisible hand keeps pulling money away just when it is within reach, leaving you with that familiar mix of disappointment and helplessness. You start to suspect there must be some hidden rule to life, and somehow you were never taught what it is. You are not the only one who feels this way. Most of us were raised with the same message. Money comes through effort, through struggle, through relentless pursuit. You have to hunt for it, strategize for it, push for it. As if money were some wild creature that only comes to the person who chases it hardest. But what if the truth is the other way around? What if the harder you chase, the faster it runs? What if the more tightly you try to control money, the more uncertain it becomes? Maybe abundance does not come from pushing harder. Maybe it begins when you stop gripping so tightly and allow it to enter. Maybe what you need is not another desperate chase, but the willingness to grow quiet, open your hands, and let money come closer on its own. Welcome to Momentum Arc, a channel devoted to reflection and growth. Here, we explore spiritual insight, inner potential, and a deeper understanding of the self. Every like, view, and subscription helps keep this journey moving forward. The spiritual writer Tosha Silver, based in California, challenged the way many of us think about money at the most basic level. She did not come from the world of economics or business. Her work grew out of mysticism, astrology, and Eastern wisdom, and she used a voice that was gentle, unusual, and at times almost poetic to rethink the relationship between wealth and the sacred. In 2014, she published Outrageous Openness, Letting the Divine Take the Lead. Later, her book, It's Not Your Money, became widely known in spiritual circles and the broader New Age world. In that work, she offers a startling idea. This is not your money. It belongs to the divine. Your role is simply to open yourself and let it move through you toward where it needs to go. That idea overturns the old success formula of goal, effort, and acquisition. In its place, she offers something very different: surrender, prayer, and service. And from that shift, money is no longer treated as something you force into your life, but something that can begin to flow again. What Tosha is describing is not passivity. It is not waiting around for magic. And it is not a polished version of positive thinking. It is a completely different relationship with money. Money is part of a larger flow, and we are not its owners so much as its passageway. When you stop clenching, stop grasping, stop trying to manage every outcome, and begin loosening the beliefs rooted in lack, money can move through you more naturally. At that point, money is no longer the thing you strain to possess. It becomes a response. It comes because you are willing to hold it, trust it, and let it keep moving. Now pause for a moment and ask yourself 3 questions. When you want to earn more money, what are you really trying to avoid? If you stopped forcing things for a while, would you still trust that life would not overlook you? And do you secretly doubt that the universe may understand what you truly need better than you do? These questions are not here so you can answer them too quickly. They are here to help you notice something deeper. Your attachment to money may not be about money itself. It may be rooted in old wounds, old insecurity, and old fear. Most people do not chase money because they love money. They chase it because losing control feels terrifying. Somewhere inside, there is a hidden reef called lack, and they are afraid of crashing into it. That fear does not always speak loudly. It slips into daily life. You worry over bills. You tense up about the future. You rehearse financial disaster before anything has even happened. And the more afraid you become, the more your whole inner life starts moving in the direction of what you fear. Lack is not just an empty wallet. It is the inner script that says, "I may not survive this." It is not a conclusion of the mind. It is the body remembering what it felt like to have no support, to feel abandoned, to feel unsafe in the world. From the moment you wake up, that feeling can begin beating quietly in the background, telling you to hurry, strive, and control everything. And that is the irony. Running from fear only deepens the state of lack. It keeps strengthening the very signal that pushes money away. Fear is an illusion with a convincing face. It can replay disaster long before any real crisis arrives. It is not only anxiety about the future. It is also the shadow of old pain falling across the present. If you have failed before, been rejected before, or been left behind before, those experiences may leave behind a hidden belief. I should not have too much because I may lose it. Once that belief settles in, it begins shaping every decision. You no longer relate to money from trust or openness, but from avoidance. In work, in investing, even in conversations about salary, the deeper feeling is not, "I am worthy of this." It is, "What if I get it and then lose it?" And sometimes that fear becomes even more complicated. You say you want money, but part of you fears the responsibility, exposure, judgment, or disappointment that may come with it. So on one level, you call it in, and on another, you push it away. This is one of the quietest ways lack works. It persuades you that abundance is not really meant for you. The turning point begins when you see this clearly. Fear is not prophecy. It is a signal. It is showing you where something inside still needs care. And once you understand that, you can finally return to the place where a real conversation with the universe begins. Tosha writes that money is not your pet. It is a traveler. You cannot cage it. You can only open the door. That single image clears up a misunderstanding many of us have carried for years. Most people treat money like a prize to be hunted, captured, tied down, and protected through pressure and fear. But Tosha reminds us that money has a kind of life to it. It wants freedom. It wants movement. Grip it too tightly, and it slips through your fingers like sand. Open the inner door, and it may choose to stay for a while and leave behind a blessing that is not chained to anxiety. Surrender does not mean giving up on action. It means giving up on control. Your plans can still exist. Your goals can still exist. Your calendar can still exist. But the force behind them changes. You are no longer moving from panic, but from trust. That is what surrender looks like, not withdrawal, but cooperation. You align yourself inwardly and let the larger intelligence handle the details you were never able to control anyway. And if that sounds beautiful in theory but hard to live, Tosha offers practices meant to bring it into ordinary life. Practice 1. Return the bills. Write down all of this month's expenses on a sheet of paper. Then write, "I return these bills to the divine source. May the right resources arrive at the right time." Sign it, seal it. The point is not superstition. It is a transfer of pressure. It is a way of telling life, I am ready to stop acting as though I have to carry all of this alone. Practice 2. Quiet writing. Sit down with a journal and write this at the top of the page. What does the divine want to tell me about money? Then close your eyes for 3 minutes. Breathe. Sit still. And after that, begin writing without judging what comes out. Sometimes what appears is guidance. Sometimes it is an answer. Sometimes it is a fear you had never fully heard before. Over time, you may discover that money has been trying to speak to you for years. You were just too tense to listen. Practice 3. Bless the outflow. The next time you spend money, whether it is on coffee or a bill, pause before you do it. Say quietly to yourself, "This is a signal of trust I am sending into life." Then let the money go with gratitude. You may even add, "May this money reach the right people, the right place, and create something good in the world." That changes spending from a fearful loss into a conscious act of blessing. Once you begin living this way, money no longer feels like paper or numbers alone. It starts to feel like something that moves. In Tosha's view, money is a kind of current, neutral like electricity. It does not choose one person and reject another. It responds to whether you are open enough to let it move. It flows more easily toward people who are inwardly open and willing to let it circulate. It tends to stall around those who grip, restrict, and try to control every step. She compares breath, prayer, and gratitude to a switch. When you enter trust and release, the circuit opens. When you tighten into fear and control, the connection weakens. That is why she offers a simple daily prayer. Divine Source, use me as a bridge for the flow of money. The words are simple, but the shift is real. You loosen your claim of ownership. You stop trying to master everything from the small self and become willing to carry, trust, and pass along what life provides. You are no longer trying to command the flow. You are learning to let it move through you. Say it 3 times a day if you wish, not as magic, but as a way of remembering. I am a channel. I am a bridge. I am a place through which support and resources can pass. When a friend comes from far away, you do not greet them by proving your worth. You open the door, you smile, you offer a cup of tea, you make space. Not because your home is perfect, but because your welcome is real. Money is not so different. It does not arrive because you passed some secret moral test. It responds to whether you are genuinely open to receiving it as part of your life. Tosha also describes a simple daily ritual for entering that receptive state. First, clear your space. Straighten your wallet. Tidy the place where you keep your financial papers. Throw away expired receipts and old clutter. On the surface, it is housekeeping. Underneath, it is a message to the subconscious. I am ready to release stagnation and make room for movement. Second, thank the last bill in your wallet. Each time you open it, look at the final note inside and say softly, "Thank you for supporting me." Gratitude toward the money already in your life reminds you that you are not empty, not abandoned, not cut off. Third, speak the welcome. Say into the air, "Welcome, come in, make yourself at home." Then take a deep breath and notice whether your body softens. That moment matters. It shifts the body from defense into receiving. If you do these 3 things each day, even briefly, something subtle begins to change. The subconscious starts learning that money is not something you have to pin down in fear. It can become something you are finally able to welcome. In the book, Tosha shares the story of a reader named Lucy. After 3 months of unemployment, Lucy was exhausted. She had sent out resume after resume and heard almost nothing back. Then one day, she stopped the endless chase. Instead of spending every hour trying to force an answer, she chose a different beginning. She gave time each day to prayer, quiet writing, and volunteer work at a local shelter. Later, she said that for the first time, she was no longer acting just to get something. She was living in trust and in service. Then, out of nowhere, a letter arrived from a company she had never even applied to. Someone there had noticed her presence and enthusiasm through her volunteer work and reached out to offer her a position. The salary was 40% higher than the one she had lost. Lucy said, "I spent 3 months chasing money and got nowhere. When I finally became still, money found me. It felt like a friend who had been quietly watching for a long time and then, at exactly the right moment, reached out and said, 'Good morning.'" That story carries the essence of Tosha's message. Stop chasing, start inviting. Stop fearing, start entrusting. She also offers what she calls a 4-step open prayer. Step 1. Acknowledge the feeling of lack. Close your eyes and say to your fear, "I see you." That does not mean agreeing with it. It means meeting it honestly. This is the first step out of avoidance. Step 2. Hand it over. Imagine placing that feeling of lack onto a slow-moving river and letting the water carry it away. This is not just release, it is trust. It is a willingness to stop fighting alone and let a deeper wisdom take over what you cannot solve by force. Step 3. Declare service. Say, "When necessity and wealth meet, may I become a bridge for blessing." That changes the posture between you and money. You are no longer trying to seize it for yourself alone. You are becoming someone willing to carry value, care, love, and meaningful contribution into the world. Step 4. Respond through action. After you pray and hand things over, pay attention. Sit quietly each day and notice whether an idea, a message, an invitation, a phone call, or a new opening appears. However small it seems, respond to it. Real change has never been built on wishing alone. It begins with each step you are willing to take. Try this for 21 days, and you may discover that opportunity does not always come through the front door. Sometimes it slips in through the places you stopped guarding, quietly, like light. Money was never a trophy at the end of the chase. It is more like a reflection of your inner state. When you settle into surrender, every slow breath becomes a way of saying to the universe, "I am ready to let support and abundance move through me." What changes your life is not the hand that keeps reaching outward, trying to seize something. It is the heart that learns to soften, open, and receive. That openness is trust. It is the moment you stop bargaining with life and stop demanding proof before you relax. So let go of the chase. Stop grasping. Become the kind of presence that does not need to prove its worth and does not live inside constant lack. Soft but steady. Open but calm. Sometimes that quiet state is exactly why money begins to come closer. Money may love someone like that. Not someone performing for it, not someone trying to trap it, but someone whose inner life has grown deep and still enough to receive it. Money is not a test. It is not a reward handed out for perfect behavior. It is more like a sensitive, gentle friend. It will not force its way in. It responds to whether you are ready. It moves toward openness and trust. When you become steady within, the outside no longer feels so urgent. When you trust that you are already worthy of receiving, abundance no longer feels far away. Your relationship with money stops being a desperate request and becomes a reunion. You do not need to keep asking when it will come. It may already be on its way, like an old friend standing quietly at your door with a gift in hand, waiting for you to stop, open your heart, and say, "Welcome."